The IRS has this great tax incentive for EV charging where you get a 30% credit. But wait, there is a catch. I would say, so not too long ago, our team was working with a company up in the Northeast, getting some putting together a bid on some chargers. And we won that project because we eliminated even trying to get the 30C tax credit, right? So that we told the owner, forget about getting a 30% credit on your taxes with this installation. And at first the customer was kind of like, well, why would we not want to get that credit? Well, here's the thing with the federal program. It gives you a 30% tax credit. That is correct. It is a straight credit towards what you paid in taxes, so that's a good thing as well. However, it's non-transferable, can't carry it over. But those aren't the big things. The biggest thing with it is it has some stipulations that come with it. One being you must pay the going prevailing wage for the tradespeople in your market. The other is you must hire and employ an apprentice on the project for at least 10% of the hours. So here's the thing with that. When you're in certain areas, the requirement for an electrician to do work might be that they get paid 70, 80 bucks an hour. Nothing wrong with people getting paid to do a good job. But when you add that, on top of a typical commercial project that maybe that electrician makes 30, 40 bucks an hour, now you have to pay him 80 bucks an hour to do this work. It can add 20, 30% to the cost of the project. And that's exactly what was happening with this one that we won, right? It was a pretty extensive project when it came to the labor on site. So there was a lot of digging and trenching and things like that. So the price to do the electrical make-ready work included all these prevailing wages for these to meet those requirements. When we priced it up with a similar contractor, but not using the prevailing wages, okay, we were able to save that customer about 40% in the overall cost of the project. So here, when we looked at it, he's like, wait a minute, so you're going to do it cheaper even after that rebate. And that was the fact. We could, because our labor was not as high as the prevailing wage. That doesn't happen everywhere, but there are certain parts of the nation where those prevailing wages are driven up relatively high compared to what a normal commercial electrician would make. When you get down in our area down here in the South, those differences aren't as big, right? Like, I think in my area, the typical prevailing wage for an electrician might be 30 bucks an hour. And on average, the electricians around here get paid 20 to 25 bucks an hour. So adding $5 an hour is not a big deal, still worth it. But when you get into some areas where those wages are way different, you can have almost doubling of wages from 30, 40 bucks an hour to 80 or 90 bucks an hour. So make sure that, who you're talking to again is figuring all that stuff out for you. So a couple other things real quick on the federal program. So not everywhere qualifies. So the thing that happened this year with it in 2024, it was limited down to specific qualifying tracts. So based on your census tract, it will determine if your location is actually eligible for the 30C. So make sure somebody's checking on that for you. But as I mentioned earlier, it really is a great program if you can take advantage of it, because it's a 30% credit as if you paid those taxes. So if you spent $10,000 or you spent $9,000, that's $3,000 as if you had written a check for $3,000 to the IRS. It can cover up to it covers all expenses. So 30% of what you spend on the EV charging installation qualifies. So In general, it's a good program. Just make sure that you're not adding more costs to try to meet the prevailing wage rates in order to qualify for it. This program, that's the 30C. Now, EV charging will also qualify for the bonus depreciation and the 100% accelerated depreciation under the, I believe it's a 179 code. So make sure you talk with your tax professionals on that too, because that's not a bad program either, right? You start stacking all these different incentives together and you can really save a lot of money on EV charging and get out there and get a nice program to attract more guests, boost revenue without a lot on your, out of your wallet here. So you want some more information or a free assessment on your properties, just swing by stayincharge.com/EV rebates. And hope this information helps you better understand EV charging. See you next time.